Hey everybody, it's Wendy. Welcome. This is my first tips, tricks, and techniques video in this series. We ended the basic stamping series last week, so the series I'm starting now is called Tips, Tricks, and Techniques, and I'm not sure how many it'll last, but I thought we would go ahead and get started with it and see how it goes. So today I'm doing a kind of an elaborate project. It all started with this card. I made this card and I'll be honest, I wasn't thrilled with the way it came out. So when I was looking at it, I thought I should make a gift tag that kind of has this feel. So what I did is I made this really cute gift tag, and I do love how it came out. And it has this box. Let me zoom out a little bit for you. There we go. So this is the box, and the tag will attach right here. And so I thought this would make a cute gift box. This is gold embossing, if you can see that down here. So I'm going to get started and show you how to make this tag, because there are definitely a few fun elements to it to use your stuff a different way. So let's get started. I have the banner framelits that I'm using, and I used this size, which is the third down from the largest, and I used that to cut out my celebration paper here. So I've got this piece. I have a 2.5 inch circle punch already punched out. Sorry, you can't really see that. It's black on black there. And then I've punched a couple from the itty bitty punch pack, a couple of flowers. So I have those ready to go, and I'm just gonna scoot them aside. I have a piece of crisp cantaloupe here, and it's cut at 1 7/8 by 4 3/8. Sorry about that. There we go. So what we're gonna do with this is kind of a fun thing. We're gonna use the tag topper punch first. So the tag topper punch, in order for paper to fit in it, has to be 2 inches wide or thinner. So this is, like I said, it's 1 7/8, so it's a little bit thinner. And I'll show you why it's less than the 2. So you can see the gap here between the wall and the paper. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to just, as much as you're capable, you're going to want to go ahead and kind of like center that, slide it all the way in, center that tag so that there's space on each side between the paper and the wall. And then you're just going to push down to create the top of your tag. Okay, now you're going to use your big shot and the next size framelit down. So here's the big shot, and I'm just going to go ahead, I'm using the magnetic plate here, and I'm going to use this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and put the bottom of this tag inside the framelit. Okay, and then I'm going to flip the framelit over. I'm going to scoot this tag all the way down to the points so that those points are covered up. So you should have the top of your tag coming out. If it goes underneath here, it's going to cut your tag off. We don't want to do that. What we're doing is we're creating a longer tag, and we're going to have a perfect fishtail by doing it this way. Okay, so you're going to slide it down, line it up with those points, make sure that they're both covered, and then just lay it down on your magnetic plate, and it adheres and clasps very nicely. You're going to run it through your big shot, and when you're done, you're going to have the perfect tag. Okay? So now what you're going to do is we're going to layer this crisp cantaloupe on top of the celebration paper. Let's see, I'm going to go right here. And then you're going to line up these points with the top of your cardstock there, or I should say your designer series paper. That way you make sure you're even across the top and you have a nice space down here. Okay, so that's the base of our tag. And then I have our piece of black cardstock here that I've already pre-punched out of the 2.5 inch circle punch. And I'm going to use a piece of grid paper to do this next step. I have my Versamark ink and I'm using the Perfect Pennants stamp set. I'm using the Make-A-Wish sentiment for a birthday tag. Gonna ink that up really good. Center it in the middle of your circle. Get a nice stamp. Oh, I forgot to do something. I'm glad I caught myself before I finished. I forgot to rub my embossing buddy over my paper. So now I'm going to ink up. So you see I just turned it over and I'm reusing it. There's no reason to waste paper. Alright, so then I have my gold embossing powder here. Just gonna be really generous. Now you see this came out so crisp and nice because I used that embossing buddy. So I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this. Okay, so now I have this, and you see there's a little bit of white left on here from my embossing buddy. If you just take your thumb and wipe, that comes right off. It doesn't stay on there. Okay, so now I'm going to use dimensionals. I've got some left here, so here's a tip for you. You can see I still have dimensional pieces left around the edges, but I've used them through the rest. So what I do is I cut or I tear the edge pieces, and I use those too. So you definitely don't want to be throwing away the edges of your dimensionals. I'm sure most of you probably knew that. But with this series of videos, I'm going to try really hard to point out any little tip that I can. That's something I might do every day, but maybe somebody else doesn't think to do. Okay, so we're going to pop this up and center it here in the middle of the tag. And we're almost finished. So we're just going to take these little guys here, and I think I've shown you this trick before, where I just run the flower. If it's something really tiny, I just hold on to it with my finger, and then I run my snail adhesive over it like that, and that gets adhesive on it. And I just turning it around, doing it on the other side. Alright, so now I have a flower here and here, and I'm going to use my candy dots to add a center, and I'm using the Very Vanilla instead of the Whisper White. So now I have my candy dots down. Now we're going to go ahead and add the ribbon. So I have some of the In Color ribbon here. This is Pistachio Pudding Ruffle Trim. And I'm just going to measure however long I want it. If you want it really long, you can make it really long or really short, however you want. Depends on your gift package, I would assume. Alright, so we're just going to, oh, I'm sorry. So, okay, I've doubled this over in half. And then I'm taking the end that's folded and kind of making it into a point and pulling it through that hole. Okay? Then I'm taking my loose ends here and going back up and through like that. And then if you just kind of pull one at a time, it'll tighten it right down. Okay? So there's that part, and then I'm going to zoom back out for you just a little. Then I have some gold baker's twine here, and if you notice, here's a tip, I leave everything on its roll. The reason I do that when I'm crafting is because it saves me product. If you cut it off before you've tied it, then you're committed to using that piece, and sometimes it's too short or too long and you've just wasted a bunch of product that you didn't need to waste. So I always leave my stuff attached while I'm tying bows and stuff like that, so that I can make sure I'm getting the most use out of my stuff. Alright, so we're just going to trim this off, and that's it. There's your lovely tag. Okay, and this is the box I put the other one with. Alright. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.